For the next 20 minutes, I want you to stop treating English like a subject you need to solve and start treating it like a skill you are training. That difference matters because you may already know enough English to speak much better than you do right now. The problem is not always knowledge. Sometimes the problem is access. You know the word, but it comes too late. You understand the sentence, but your answer takes too long. You can recognize grammar when you see it, but when you need to speak, everything feels slower. So today, I want to train the part that often gets ignored. Your response speed, your sentence-building reflex, your ability to keep going without freezing. And I want you to participate. Do not sit there waiting for me to entertain you. Use your voice. If you are alone, speak normally. If you are around other people, speak quietly, but speak. Because your mouth cannot become faster by watching other people use theirs. Let us begin with something simple. I am going to ask you a question. Do not build the perfect answer, just answer. What did you do before you started watching this video? Say one sentence. Maybe, I was working. I was eating. I was checking my phone. I was resting. Whatever is true. Now say it again, but add one detail. I was working on something important. I was eating lunch. I was checking my messages. I was resting because I was tired. Good. You see what just happened? You did not need a complicated lesson. You needed a question that forced your brain to retrieve language. That is what I want to keep doing. Because English does not become automatic only by putting more information into your brain. It also becomes automatic by repeatedly pulling language out. Input matters, but retrieval matters too. You have probably experienced this with names. Sometimes you recognize someone immediately, but you cannot remember their name. The information is somewhere in your memory. The problem is access. English can feel the same. You recognize thousands of words when you read or listen, but speaking demands that you retrieve them quickly enough to use them. So let us train retrieval. I will give you a situation. You are leaving home, and suddenly you realize you forgot something. What do you say? Maybe, I forgot my keys. Good. Now imagine you forgot your wallet. I forgot my wallet. Now your phone. I forgot my phone. Very simple. Now build one useful pattern. I forgot my... Say it with 3 different endings. I forgot my keys. I forgot my wallet. I forgot my charger. Do it again with your own examples. This is how a pattern becomes flexible. Not by memorizing one sentence, by using one structure in several situations. Now I want you to try something else. Say, I need to finish it immediately. Do not think for 10 seconds. I need to leave. I need to eat. I need to call someone. I need to finish this. Now say, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to explain. I don't have time to wait. Good. Now, I'm trying to finish it. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to save money. Your sentence does not need to be brilliant. It needs to appear. That is what automatic speaking begins to look like. A familiar beginning creates momentum, and your brain learns to complete the rest. This is why sentence starters are so powerful. They reduce the amount of work your brain has to do. If every sentence begins from nothing, speaking feels heavy. But if you have familiar openings ready, your brain only needs to add the new information. Let us build a few. I think, I don't think, I'm not sure. The problem is, the good thing is, I decided to, I forgot to, I'm planning to. I used to, I've been trying to. These are not random phrases, they are engines. You attach your own thoughts to them. Let us test that. I'm not sure, finish it. I'm not sure what to do, I'm not sure if I can go. I'm not sure whether that's true. Now, the problem is I don't have enough time. The problem is nobody told me. The problem is I can't find it. Now your own. The problem is complete it with something from your life. Good. When you use English this way, speaking stops feeling like you are building a house from individual bricks. You start working with larger pieces, and larger pieces create speed. Now, let us work on answering questions. This is important because many learners feel comfortable when they are listening, but the moment someone asks them something, pressure appears. The mind says, I have to answer now, and suddenly, even simple English disappears. So I want to teach your brain that answering does not require a perfect performance. Listen. What did you do yesterday? Answer in one sentence. Do it now. Maybe, I stayed home. Good. Now add one detail. I stayed home and finished some work. Add one more. I stayed home and finished some work because I had a busy week. That is how you expand naturally. One sentence, then detail, then reason. You do not need to create everything before you begin speaking. Speak the first useful piece, then build. Let us use another question. What are you going to do tomorrow? Answer in one sentence. Now add where, now add why. Maybe, I'm going to meet a friend tomorrow. We're going to a cafe because we haven't seen each other in a while. Simple, clear, useful. Next question. What is something you want to improve? Answer immediately. Maybe, I want to improve my confidence. Now add, because. I want to improve my confidence because I overthink when I speak. Now add, so. So I'm practicing more often. You just created a complete thought with 3 simple connectors. Because, so, but. These small words are incredibly useful. They allow simple English to become richer without becoming complicated. Let us train them. I wanted to go out, but finish it. I wanted to go out, but I was too tired. Now, I was tired, so. I was tired, so I went home early. Now, I stayed home because the weather was bad. Do 3 of your own. You are not studying grammar, you are using relationships between ideas. That is what conversation needs. Now I want to challenge another habit. Stop trying to translate long thoughts perfectly. If your thought is too complicated, simplify the thought before you simplify the English. Imagine you want to say, I was disappointed because the experience did not meet my expectations, and I felt the organization could have handled everything more professionally. Maybe that feels difficult. Fine. Say, I expected it to be better. Then, they were not very organized. Then, I was disappointed. Same message, smaller pieces, much easier to produce. Your listener does not need one impressive sentence. They need your meaning. Try this with me. You want to explain that a meeting was confusing. You could say, the meeting was confusing. Then, people were talking about different things. Then, I wasn't sure what we had decided. Clear. Now imagine you had a bad travel experience. You do not need advanced vocabulary. Say, the trip was stressful. The flight was delayed. My luggage arrived late. I was exhausted. 4 simple sentences can tell a strong story. This is an important mental shift. Fluency is not the ability to hide every simple sentence. Fluency is the ability to keep meaning moving. Now I want you to practice movement. I will give you a topic, your morning. Speak for 20 seconds. Use only easy English. Start with, this morning, go. Maybe, this morning I woke up later than usual. I made some tea and checked my phone. Then I started working. I felt a little tired, but I was okay. Now do it again. Same topic. But this time, try to make the second version smoother. You may notice that the words appear faster. Why? Because your brain already organized the story once. This is one of the simplest ways to improve speaking speed. Say the same thing twice. The first attempt helps you discover the language. The second attempt helps you improve access. And if you do it a third time, something else may happen. You stop searching so much. You begin retrieving. That is training. Let us do another. Describe the place where you are now. 20 seconds. Start. This room is... Keep going. Talk about the light, the temperature, what you can see, what you can hear. Now repeat the description, but make it shorter and smoother. Excellent. That is speaking practice you can do anywhere. You do not need a teacher standing in front of you. You need a situation and your own voice. Now let us work on quick reactions. Real conversation is not only long answers. A lot of speaking is reacting. Someone says, I got a new job. You might say, that's great. Someone says, I'm exhausted. You might say, you should get some rest. Someone says, I missed my flight. You might say, that's terrible. What happened? Someone says, I'm thinking of moving. You might say, really? Where? These responses are short, but they matter. If you have reaction language ready, conversation feels much easier. Repeat after me. That's great. That makes sense. I didn't know that. Really? What happened? How did that go? Are you serious? That sounds difficult. I'm glad to hear that. I hope it works out. Again, this time, do not sound like you are reading. Give each sentence a feeling. That's great. That sounds difficult. Really, I'm glad to hear that. Good. Now I will give you a statement, and you react. I've been working all day. Respond. Maybe. You must be tired. Next. I finally finished the course. Respond. That's great. Next. I lost my phone this morning. Respond. Oh no, did you find it? Next. I'm going on vacation next week. Respond. Nice. Where are you going? You are training conversational reflexes, and reflexes become faster through repetition. Now let us work on another important area, hesitation. You may believe that fluent speakers never pause. That is not true. People pause all the time. The difference is that experienced speakers know how to hold the floor while thinking. They use phrases like, let me think. That's a good question. How can I explain this? I'm not sure how to put it. Give me a second. These phrases buy time. And more importantly, they protect your confidence. Repeat. That's a good question. Again. That's a good question. Now. Let me think for a second. Repeat. Let me think for a second. Now. How can I explain this? Repeat. How can I explain this? Good. Imagine someone asks, why do you want to improve your English? You do not need to panic. You can say, that's a good question. I think the main reason is, then continue. Use a thinking phrase as part of the conversation. Do not treat hesitation like failure. Now answer this question. What is something you have learned recently? Before you answer, say, let me think for a second, then answer. That small phrase gives your brain permission to prepare. Now another. What would you do if you had 1 free month? Use, that's a good question, then answer. Maybe, I'd probably travel, or I'd spend more time with my family, or I'd learn something new. You do not need to rush. You need to remain in control. Now let us train paraphrasing. This may become one of your most useful speaking abilities. If you forget a word, do not stop the entire conversation. Describe the meaning. Suppose you forget stairs. Say, the steps you use to go upstairs. Suppose you forget receipt, the paper you get after paying. Suppose you forget neighbor, the person who lives next to me. Suppose you forget appointment, a meeting I have with the doctor. The exact word may be missing, but communication continues. Let us make this a game. I give you the word. You explain without using the word. Umbrella. You might say, something you use when it rains. Good. Elevator. A machine that takes people up and down inside a building. Good. Password. A secret word you use to enter an account. Good. Now you choose one common object around you. Do not name it, describe it. Maybe, it's something I use every day. It has a screen. I use it to call people. Phone. Excellent. This exercise trains flexibility. And flexible speakers recover faster. Now let us work on connected conversation. Imagine somebody asks, how was your day? A weak answer might be, good, nothing wrong with it, but the conversation may stop. A stronger answer gives one extra piece. It was good. I had a busy morning, but the afternoon was quiet. Then return the question, how about yours? That creates movement. Try it. How was your day? Answer, it was good. I had a busy morning, but the afternoon was quiet. How about yours? Now make it true for you. Say your real answer, and always remember this pattern. Answer, add, return. Answer the question, add one detail, return something to the other person. Let us practice. What did you do this weekend? Answer, add one detail, then ask, what about you? Another, do you like cooking? Answer, explain briefly, then ask, how about you? This structure immediately makes conversation easier because you no longer feel responsible for producing long speeches. Conversation is shared. Now I want to train your ability to tell a simple story. Stories are everywhere in conversation. But many learners make stories difficult by trying to speak exactly as they would in their first language. Instead, use a simple structure. Situation. Problem, action, result. Let us build one. Situation. I went to the supermarket yesterday. Problem. When I got there, I realized I had forgotten my wallet. Action. So I called my brother. Result. He brought it to me. but I had to wait for 20 minutes. Now say the full story. I went to the supermarket yesterday. When I got there, I realized I had forgotten my wallet. So I called my brother, he brought it to me, but I had to wait for 20 minutes. Simple, natural, easy to follow. Now your turn. Think of one small problem from your week. Nothing dramatic. Maybe you missed a bus. Maybe something broke. Maybe you forgot something. Use at first. Then, so, in the end. Speak for 30 seconds. Do not restart if you make a mistake. Continue. That is important. A story that survives one imperfect sentence is better practice than a perfect first sentence followed by silence. Now let us work on opinion language. Sometimes you freeze not because you do not know English, but because you are trying to create an advanced opinion. Start simpler. I think, I feel like. For me, in my experience, the main reason is, personally. Now answer. Is learning English difficult? Start with, I think, then give one reason. I think learning English can be difficult because it takes time to become comfortable speaking. Now another question. Is social media useful? Say, for me, then answer. Another. Would you rather work from home or in an office? Start with, personally, then answer. The phrase gives you a runway. It gets the sentence moving. And once you start moving, the rest often becomes easier. Now I want you to notice something. You have already spoken many times during this lesson. Some answers were probably smooth, some were not. That is exactly what training should look like. You do not become stronger by only doing what already feels easy. But you also do not become stronger by choosing something so difficult that you cannot move. The ideal practice is challenging enough to make you search a little, but easy enough that you can still speak. That is why everyday topics matter. Your routines, your preferences, your experiences, your plans, your problems, your opinions. You have something to say about them already. So your brain can focus more on language instead of inventing content. Now let us describe the train description. I want you to imagine a busy street. Cars are moving, people are waiting, someone is crossing. A shop is closing. It looks like it might rain. Now describe it with me. The street is busy. Cars are moving slowly. A few people are waiting near the crossing. One shop is about to close. The sky looks dark. Now do not repeat me. Create 3 different sentences about the same scene. Maybe, there is a lot of traffic. People look like they are in a hurry. It might rain soon. Good. Descriptions teach you to connect what you see directly with English. Now look around your real environment again. Find 3 things. Describe each one without naming it first. For example, it's small, black, and I use it to control the television. Then say, it's the remote. Next object. This train's meaning before labels. Now let us work on future speaking. Many conversations are about plans. You need a few flexible patterns. I'm going to, I'm thinking about, I might, I'm hoping to, I haven't decided yet, I'll probably, say them. Now complete each one. I'm going to, I'm thinking about, I might. I'm hoping to, I'll probably, use real plans if possible. Now connect to. I'm thinking about going somewhere this weekend, but I haven't decided yet. Repeat. Now create your own. This type of flexible future language is useful because your plans are often uncertain. You do not always need a definite answer. Now imagine a friend asks, are you free tomorrow? You can say, I'm not sure yet, I'll probably know tonight. Another, are you coming with us? I might, let me check. Another, what are you doing this weekend? I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about staying home. These are natural, useful responses. Now let us train past experiences. Use, I've never, I've tried, I've been there, I haven't done that before. The last time I, complete them. I've never, maybe, I've never been to Japan. I've never tried surfing. Now, I've tried. Now, the last time I, use your own experience. Past experience questions are common, so these patterns should feel familiar. Now I want to give you a speaking challenge that will combine several skills. Question. Tell me about something you tried for the first time. You have 1 minute. Use this structure if you need it. I decided to. At first, the hardest part was, after a while. In the end, start speaking. Do not write. Do not translate the complete story. Build it while speaking. If you forget a word, describe it. If you need time, say, let me think. If you make a mistake, continue. That is the training. Now stop. Take a moment. Tell the same story again in 30 seconds. Make it shorter. When you shorten a story, you learn to choose important information. That skill helps real conversation because people do not always want the full version. Sometimes they want the short version. Now let us work on asking questions. Speaking confidence improves dramatically when you learn to ask good questions. Because conversation is easier when you do not carry all the talking yourself. Useful questions. How did you get started? What made you decide that? What do you like about it? How long have you been doing that? What happened next? What are you going to do now? How did you feel? What would you recommend? Repeat them. Now imagine someone says, I started learning photography. Ask one question. What made you decide to learn photography? Someone says, I'm moving next month. Ask, where are you moving? Or, what made you decide to move? Someone says, I had a terrible day. Ask, what happened? You are learning to create conversation from what the other person gives you. That reduces pressure. Listen for information. Use that information to ask the next question. Now I want to challenge your perfectionism again. When you answer a question, do not mentally rewrite your sentence 5 times before saying it. Speak the simplest acceptable version first. Suppose someone asks, why were you late? Your brain may want to create, the reason I was delayed was because there was unusually heavy traffic due to an accident on the main road. Good English. But if that sentence takes you 30 seconds to construct, use, there was an accident, so traffic was really bad. Faster, clearer, natural. Now, why didn't you answer? Instead of creating something complicated, I was busy and didn't see your message. Good. Why did you leave early? I wasn't feeling well. Good. Simple answers build confidence. Then you can add detail if needed. Now let us work on disagreement. You do not need advanced debate vocabulary. Use, I'm not sure I agree. I see your point, but I understand what you mean, but I think it depends. Maybe, but. Repeat. Now imagine someone says, online learning is always better. You can say, I think it depends. Some people learn better in person. Good. Someone says, grammar is the only thing that matters. I understand what you mean, but speaking practice matters too. You are expressing an opinion while staying calm. Now let us work on confidence in uncertain moments. Repeat, I'm not completely sure. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, I think so, but I'm not certain. These phrases are useful because not every answer in life is definite. You do not need to freeze just because you are unsure. Now I want you to answer, what time does your favorite place close? If you do not know exactly, use, I'm not completely sure, but I think. Good. Language gives you ways to manage uncertainty. Learn them. Now imagine you are at a restaurant. You need quick, useful English. Could I have a table for 2? I'd like the chicken, please. Could I get some water? Can I have the bill, please? Do you take cards? These sentences are practical. Say them aloud. Now change one detail in each. A table for 3. I'd like the soup. Could I get some tea? Now imagine something is wrong. Excuse me, I think this is the wrong order. Repeat. Or, sorry, I asked for this without cheese. Repeat. Or, could you check this for me? Repeat. Real confidence grows when you practice language connected to real needs. Now think of one situation you may actually face this week. A phone call, a meeting, a shop, a conversation, a doctor, a colleague, a stranger. Prepare 3 sentences you may need. Say them now. That is preparation, not memorization. You are giving your brain familiar routes before the real moment arrives. Now let us train one more skill, correction without panic. If you say something wrong, use, sorry, let me say that again. Or, what I meant was. Or, actually, I mean. Repeat. Sorry, let me say that again. What I meant was, actually, I mean. Now make a fake mistake intentionally. Say, I went there tomorrow, then correct yourself. Sorry, I mean yesterday. Good. This teaches your brain that mistakes are repairable. You do not need to freeze. You can fix it and continue. Now another. I saw him last week. Correct naturally. Sorry, I saw him last week. Good. The purpose is not the grammar lesson. The purpose is learning to continue after noticing an error. Now let us do another quick response round. I ask, you answer immediately. What are you doing right now? Speak. What did you eat today? Speak. Who did you talk to recently? Speak. What is something you need to do later? Speak. What is one thing you are worried about? Speak. What is something you are looking forward to? Speak. What is one thing you would like to change? Speak. Notice how quickly you can answer when you allow yourself to use simple English. This is the speaking brain I want you to train. Not the brain that waits until everything is perfect. The brain that finds enough language to move. Now I want you to create one sentence with each of these. Usually, recently, sometimes, right now, tomorrow, last week, do it. These time markers immediately give your brain direction. Usually tells you to talk about habits. Recently tells you to talk about a current change or experience. Tomorrow moves you into plans. Last week moves you into a past event. You can use these words as speaking triggers. If you want daily practice, choose 5 triggers and speak one sentence for each. No worksheet, no complicated routine, just retrieval. Now I want you to think about what happens when you learn a new phrase. Many learners hear it once, understand it, and move on. That is recognition. But if you want to speak it, you need stronger practice. Let us take, it depends on, say it. Now use it 3 times. It depends on the weather. It depends on how much time we have. It depends on what you want. Now make your own. Good. Another phrase. I ended up, use it. I ended up staying home. I ended up buying the cheaper one. I ended up working late. Your turn. Now. It turned out better than I expected. It turned out to be a mistake. It turned out we were wrong. You do not need 20 phrases today. You need a few phrases used deeply. This is how vocabulary becomes speaking vocabulary. Now let us build one final longer response together. Question. Why do you want to speak English more fluently? Start simply. I want to speak English more fluently because. Complete it. Now add. One reason is, then. Another reason is, then. The biggest problem for me is, then. So I'm trying to now speak the complete answer. This may take 40 seconds. That is good. You are organizing a real response. Now do it again without using my structure if you can. Say it your way. That is independence. And that is where we are going. I do not want you permanently dependent on exercises. Exercises should prepare you to speak without them. Now pause mentally and ask yourself, what changed during these 20 minutes? Maybe your English did not transform into perfect fluency. That was never the point. The point was to train behaviors that create fluency. You answered without preparing forever. You expanded simple sentences. You reacted to information. You told stories. You paraphrased missing words. You asked questions. You handled uncertainty. You repaired mistakes. You used sentence starters. You repeated ideas twice to improve speed. You practiced retrieval instead of only recognition. That is speaking training. And I want you to continue in exactly that direction. Do not measure your English only by how much you understand. Ask, how much can I retrieve? How quickly can I answer? Can I keep going when I forget a word? Can I explain a simple idea clearly? Can I speak for 30 seconds without restarting? Can I turn one sentence into 3? Those questions tell you more about speaking ability. Now I want you to choose one skill from today. Only one. Maybe quick answers, maybe storytelling, maybe sentence starters, maybe paraphrasing, maybe speaking twice about the same topic. Use it again later today for 5 minutes. That is enough. Do not turn progress into another complicated routine you will abandon. Make it easy to repeat. Your brain changes through repetition. Not through one emotional promise that you will study 6 hours tomorrow. 5 focused minutes tomorrow is more valuable than a perfect plan that never happens. So tomorrow, ask yourself 5 questions. Answer each aloud, then choose one answer and expand it. Then tell one small story, then explain one object without naming it. Then repeat one topic twice. You have a speaking workout, no special equipment, no partner required. Your voice is enough to start. And there is something I want you to remember when English feels slow again. Slowness does not always mean you do not know enough. Sometimes it means the path between knowledge and speech still needs training. Every time you answer, that path gets practice. Every time you explain a missing word, it gets practice. Every time you keep talking after a mistake, it gets practice. Every time you retrieve a phrase without looking at notes, it gets practice. This is how knowledge becomes usable. So the next time someone speaks English to you, do not demand a perfect answer from yourself. Give them a real answer. Start with one sentence, then add what you can. If you need time, take it. If you forget a word, describe it. If you make a mistake, repair it. If your sentence is simple, let it be simple. Your job is communication, and communication gets stronger through use. Before we finish, I want one final challenge. Answer these questions aloud without stopping too long. What are you doing after this video? What is something you enjoyed recently? What is one thing you want to improve this month? What is something you are planning? What is one thing you learned today? Now choose your best answer and make it longer. Add a reason, add an example, add one more detail. Keep speaking. That is the difference between knowing a sentence and controlling a sentence. You are learning to control the language you already have. And that is where confidence comes from. Not from waiting until you know everything, from realizing you can do something with what you know today. So when these 20 minutes are over, do not say, I watched another English lesson. Say, I trained my English. There is a difference. Watching ends when the video ends. Training leaves something behind. A faster answer, a more familiar phrase, a better recovery, a stronger speaking reflex, a little less fear, and those small gains add up. Your English-speaking brain is not built in one giant moment. It is built through hundreds of moments when you choose to respond instead of remaining silent. Today, you created some of those moments. Create more tomorrow. Keep your practice active. Keep it simple. Keep it personal. And most importantly, keep your mouth involved. Because English becomes spoken when it stops living only in your head and starts coming out of your voice. So take one final sentence with you. Say it aloud. I don't need more time to wait. I need more chances to speak. Again. I don't need more time to wait. I need more chances to speak. And now give yourself one of those chances. Say one sentence without me. Anything true about your life right now. Speak it. That sentence is your next repetition, your next piece of evidence, your next step from understanding English toward actually using it.